Hey everybody, and welcome back to this week's episode of Flick News. Izola here with Flick Direct, and boy do I have a lot to fill you in on. It's been kind of a slow movie week in regards to news, and that's probably because we had the Star Wars celebration 18th through the 20th, so that literally means that it has just wrapped up in Japan. So I figured I would kind of give you some highlights and some updates, primarily on movie news, of course, but I will give you a few more tidbits of information that we did receive during that. So grab your popcorn, sit back, relax, and let's get this started. Okay, we're just going to start off big, and that's going to be with The Mandalorian and Grogu. That is set to hit theaters May 22nd, 2026. And obviously, if the title didn't give it away, Mando and Grogu will be back, along with familiar faces like Zeb, and then we have some new ones because Sigourney Weaver is actually joining the cast, and I am so stoked about this one. And of course, when she and Pedro hit the stage at the celebration, the crowd went wild. And are we surprised? Absolutely not, because one, everybody is excited about this movie because we get all of the characters we love so much back, but also we're now including Sigourney Weaver, which, fun fact, she really didn't know much about The Mandalorian before she got cast for this. Which, I mean, I kind of get it. You know, not everybody sits there and watches everything that comes out on Disney Plus or, you know, TV in general. There's way too much to watch, but you know, part of me also thought, oh, maybe she knew, but that's okay. And obviously, once she did get cast, she went and watched the series and absolutely fell in love with it. And again, how can you not? Especially Grogu. I mean, he's so cute. We love the baby. We love our green little guy. So, and of course she does too. So, you know, that was obviously to be expected. And I'm glad that she really loves it because you really want to be part of something that you enjoy, right? Now, one of the perks of going to conventions is that you get exclusive looks behind the scenes, also bits and pieces of things that they've already filmed. And normally they will tell you not to record or leak it. I don't know what the rules were for the celebration in Japan, but footage leaked. I have watched the footage. It's super cool. I'm not putting it here because I'm not getting demonetized or ruining it for anybody. But if you absolutely need to watch it, then by all means, you can go and do a quick Google search and take a look. It is pretty cool. We've got snow troopers and, of course, not having great aim, and Mandalorian just, you know, it's great. And then, of course, we see Grogu just, you know, really improving his force skills. You do see Sigourney Weaver as well. And, you know, there's some sassiness between Mando and her, but, you know, it's going to be great banter. And I'm super stoked about it. I think this is going to be really great casting. And they're going to work really great together. I'm so excited for this. Oh, and speaking of Grogu, he did make an appearance at the panel, of course. And if you thought the cheers were super crazy, when Weaver and Pascal came on stage, just be prepared when you watch any of the footage from the celebration because it's loud, 10 times louder. And, you know, obviously it's because everybody loves Grogu. Again, Mandalorian and Grogu hits the theaters in 2026, and it looks like it's going to be a wild ride, so stay tuned. In other news, we got an interesting cast announcement for another movie that is coming out that is Star Wars related. It has, again, been announced that Ryan Gosling is actually going to be the star of the Star Wars Starfighter movie, which is filming this fall. Sean Levy's Star Wars movie is a go, and yeah, I was not expecting such a big star to be cast in a Star Wars movie, just primarily because they do try to keep certain characters kind of unknowns, just because it just works a little bit better when you don't really know much about the person playing the character. So for example, you know, him playing a pilot there is the possibility that you're going to think of him as Ken or the stuntman in The Fall Guy, you know, things like that. So again, they really try normally for these types of roles to get more less noticed people. Now, Levy actually showed up at the Mandalorian and Grogu panel alongside of Kathleen Kennedy and Dave Filoni, and that's where the confirmation was made. So this film is one of several projects that are in the works, and when I say several, there are a lot of projects that are being thrown around right now and also being made. So for all you Star Wars fans, including myself, we are going to have a lot to watch. Star Wars Starfighter actually picks up about 5 years after The Rise of Skywalker. And although we don't really know much about the plot or even Ryan Gosling's character, except for the fact that he is the lead, people are buzzing. And rightfully so, because like I said, it's a lot. So I'm really curious to see what fans think. I personally don't have a problem with this. I think that Ryan Gosling is a good actor. He has shown that he can be very funny, charming, extremely emotional when need be, can play a completely well-rounded character. So if he needs to be tough, he can be tough. If he needs to be a little soft, he can be a little soft. So I don't think that it's a horrible casting, but we know that Star Wars fans tend to be, and this is not all, but some, quite passionate. Is that and opinionated? Maybe those are two neutral words that I would put it at. I mean, look, if you want to know what I'm really talking about or not aware, just go check out forums. Some of them are rough. So again, passionate, opinionated. That's how we're just going to wrap that up. But I'll tell you what, I do plan on going to kind of check it out just to kind of see what people are chit-chatting about and what the reviews are, which I'm sure they're going to be mixed. Again, this is going to be set 5 years after The Rise of Skywalker, so this kind of leaves some things open. It's a whole new territory that has not been explored yet, so that gives them really a lot of opportunity to bring in some more storylines, characters, you know, so I'm really excited about this, but I do wonder, are they going to try to tie in any plot lines, characters, or maybe just have Easter eggs from the video game that came out a while back? Maybe? Don't worry, I'm not going to go into a rant about video games, but there is a video game with the same title. So, I mean, would it be too far off to think that we might get something that's connected to that? Like a group of pilots banding together and maybe Gosling's the leader? Maybe? We'll see. I know a lot of fans were thinking that Rey's movie, Star Wars New Jedi Order, was going to be the next one out. We had delays. I've spoken about it in previous weekly news reviews. So I haven't really looked up too much as to what's happening with that recently. They didn't really mention too much that I saw during the celebration. It is still coming out, but that one is taking place 15 years after. So with Starfighter coming out first or being filmed first, again, I'm not even sure where Rey's movie is at this point. We do know that it's not really going to interfere with that plot line because that one takes place further down the road anyway. So I guess it kind of makes sense for this one to come out first, or be worked on first, and then, you know, kind of wrap up a bunch of things for Rey's movie. So, you know, again, we'll just have to wait and see what's going on, but that's so far what we know about the timelines. Though I am curious that now that this one has been announced, will that affect Rey's timeline? Again, wait and see. Once I hear more information, I'll let you know, but as of right now, the movie Star Wars Starfighter should be hitting theaters Memorial Day 2027. That's their deadline. So Fingers crossed there's no issues with this one. If I hear anything else, I'll definitely let you guys know. Okay, like I said, there were so many announcements, but a lot of them were not movie related. So I figured I would just kind of give you, quick hits of announcements that were made. And I'm telling you, there were a ton. There are new mangas, new animated series, video game updates like DLCs, graphic novels. I mean, you name it. I mean, I think Hasbro has some things that came out. Like, there's a lot. So lots of fun stuff, toys, reading material, watching material. Get ready to spend some money because I think that you guys will really enjoy a lot of these things. First, there is this all new spin-off series of longer stories from Star Wars Visions. And also, do not forget, Andor Season 2 starts in 2 days. That is April 22nd. That is the premiere. And of course, they're not going to all be dumped on the same day. So if you are okay with trying to dodge spoilers, by all means, wait until they're all there and binge it. But I got a lot of chatty Cathys in my bubble. And, as hard as they try, someone always spoils something. So I'm not going to do it. And I really enjoyed Andor, so I'm really looking forward to this. Fingers crossed that it holds up and, we don't have a downfall in season 2. But, hey, I have high hopes. We then have the animated series, Star Wars Tales from the Underworld, and that gives us some info on Ventress and her survival. Absolutely love Ventress. So that'll be a lot of fun to watch as well. So again, just more time to spend watching something on the television because, it's not like I don't spend enough time doing that already, but, it's Star Wars. Of course I'm going to watch it. And probably one that I'm super, super excited about is Darth Maul is getting his own animated show, and that's called Maul Shadow Lord. So yay, Sam Witwer. Very excited about that. My favorite Star Killer. So I'm really excited to see where this is going. And apparently he has his own apprentice. So yeah, I guess we're going to have to see where this one's going as well. But absolutely stoked about this because I love Darth Maul. And I just, as much as I can get of that character, I'm in. Let's not forget Ahsoka 2. That's starting filming, and Rory McCann, who played the Hound in Game of Thrones, is actually going to be the recast for Balin. So I actually think that that's a really good fit. He definitely looks the part. He has the voice. It's unfortunate that it had to be recast, but obviously due to the passing, it's a really good recast, and I'm glad that they're not just getting rid of the character. So I think this is going to work, and I think we can all appreciate the work that McCann is going to do, and he is going to do his best because those are some really big shoes to fill. So stay tuned for that. Again, that just started filming, so when I hear more about that, I'll kind of fill you guys in, even though it's television related, but we all love it, so I'll talk about it. And the final announcement that I am going to talk about today is that Los Angeles is getting a Star Wars celebration in 2027. So, oh God, everything's happening in LA. We've got the Olympics. We've got the Star Wars celebration. It's just gonna be freaking crazy. So April 2027, be prepared. At least it does give me enough time to get through those 5 cosplays that I still haven't finished yet that are Star Wars related. Yeah. 2027. I got enough time. Again, there are so many more announcements. You can watch the panels. You can see cosplays. You can, kind of see all the things that will be sold from the celebration. And I mean, you could probably watch it on YouTube as well, but I highly recommend going to the Star Wars website so that you can see first clips and then kind of go through if you want to watch all of the panel together, because sometimes they run a little long, but if you just need the cliff notes, there's clips there as well. I really enjoyed it. The website is actually set up really well to where you could just kind of see little clips of everything. I think you'll enjoy it. I enjoyed it. And I don't think you're going to be disappointed with what you see. And if there's anything that you plan on buying when they're available, let me know. I'm really curious. And with that, this concludes this week's episode of Flick News. Please be sure to like and subscribe to all of our channels and socials so you never miss out on any entertainment news. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!